Good morning Year 7 and welcome to today's maths lesson. Let's start off with a quick starter, shall we? Can you work out 7 divided by 1? Can you put 24 for me? Can you simplify 8 over 12? And then can you find 5 times 1/5? Pause the video for me and have a go at those questions in your light blue books now. Okay, so 7 divided by 1 is just 7. I could also write that as 7 over 1, which is just 7. 7 divided into one part is just 7. Finding a half of 24, I need to do 24 divided by 2, which gives me what, Freya? 12. Excellent, thanks very much. To simplify 8 over 12, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide top and bottom by 2. Always a good first bet. That gives me 4 over 6. 2 goes into both 4 and 6, so I can do it again. Dividing top and bottom by 2 gives me what, Jasper? 2/3, very wise. And finally, I want to find 5 times 1/5. Well, if we had bars, we'd have 5 bars, and I'd colour in 1/5 of each of those bars. So 5 times 1/5 is just equal to 1. Don't worry, we're going to do lots of practice on this in today's lesson. So to start us off, what was 7 divided by 1? Who can remind me from the starter a minute ago? Katie. 7 divided by 1, we're dividing 7 into one piece, so the answer is 7. How can I simplify 7 over 1, Macy Jane? Again, I can just write that as 7. It means the same thing. 7 divided by 1, 7 over 1, all just gives me 7. So fill in the gap. 7 is 7 over what, Angel? Exactly, it's just 7 over 1. We can write those interchangeably. We can write 7 as 7 over 1. They both mean exactly the same thing. Over to you, Year 7. In your light blue books, please pause the video for a couple of minutes and have a go at these 3 sets of questions. Can you work out 1 divided by 1, 2 divided by 1, 3 divided by 1, 4 divided by 1 for part A? Part B, can you simplify these fractions? For example, 1 divided by 1 is just 1. And for part C, can you fill in the gaps? What goes on the bottom? For example, if I was doing 3, that's the same as 3 over 1. Pause the video for a couple of minutes and have a go at those now. And these are the answers. Please check your work and see how you did. So far we've worked out that if I've got any number, I've just called it x because we can use x for any number, I can write that as x over 1. For example, I can write 3 as 3 over 1. I can write 107 as 107 over 1. We can use those interchangeably and they mean the same thing. Right, quick recap. How can I represent 3/4? 3/4 means I split the bar into how many pieces, Zara? 4 equal parts, lovely. That's my bottom part, so 4 equal parts. If I want to shade in 3/4, Zara, how many to shade in? 3 of them. Cool. We're all quite confident shading in 3 parts. So when we were representing 2 lots of 3/4, that meant we needed 2 bars. We've still got a 4 as our denominator, so we split those bars into 4 pieces, didn't we? This is what we did last lesson. We split each of those 2 bars into 4 pieces, just like that. And because we've got a 3 on the top, that meant I needed to shade in 3 parts of each bar. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we put them together, didn't we? So we just moved everything along a little bit. So we had 6 lots of 1/4 all together. Move everyone along. So that gives us 6 over 4, or 3 over 2, if you wanted to simplify, or 1½ as a mixed number. And that's what we covered last lesson. How else could I write 2? Here I've got 2 times 3/4, which gave me 6/4. Here was my diagram. How else could I have written that number 2? What were we looking at the beginning of the lesson? Katie, can you remind me, how else could I write the number 2? I could write it as 2/1. Why not? We're going to use this to multiply our fractions, because I can write 2/1 times 3/4 is 6/4, and it means exactly the same thing as 2 times 3/4 equals 6/4. What do you notice about these numbers? Pause the video and have a little think. What do you notice? KJ, have you spotted anything? Yeah, 2 times 3 gave me 6 and 1 times 4 gave me 4. Interesting, we've multiplied across the top, we've multiplied across the bottom. Let's use that now. In your dark blue books, can you write me the title, Multiplying Fractions by Integers? And then can I see pens down, eyes on me? I'm going to do an example and you're going to do an example. So I've been asked to work out what 2/3 times 5 is. How else can I write the number 5, Ione? I can write it as 5/1, exactly. So I'm now doing the sum, 2/3 times 5/1. And we spotted that to do this, we just multiply our numerators together. 2 times 5 gave me 10. And multiply our denominators together. 3 times 1 gave me 3. I could write that as a mixed number if I wanted to. How many 3's are there in 10 for me, Ava? 3, lovely. And I've got 1/3 left over. Over to you, Year 7. In your dark blue books, have a go at this example for me. Pause the video and have a go at that now, please. Right, let's go through the answer. So in exactly the same way, I can write 5 as 5/1. So I've got 2/7 multiplied by 5/1. I multiply my numerators together. 2 times 5 gives me 10. 7 times 1 gave me 7. And if I wanted to write that as a mixed number, I'd say there is one lot of 7 in 10, and I've got 3/7 left over. Please make sure you've got this example written in your dark blue books for me, Year 7. And then mini whiteboards or light blue books, pause the video for a minute and work this one out for me. Right, let's go through it. I can write 3 as 3/1. By multiplying my numerators together, I've got 1 times 3 is 3, and 7 times 1 on the bottom gives me 7. How about now? Let's go through it. I can write 3 as 3/1. I've now got 2 times 3, which gives me 6 on the top. 7 times 1 gave me 7 on the bottom. How about now? Pause the video, have a little think. Okay, it's exactly the same question. I've just put the integer before the fraction this time. So I can still write it as 3/1. 3 times 2 gives me 6 on the top. 1 times 7 gives me 7 on the bottom. How about now? Pause the video, have a little think in your light blue books. Right, in exactly the same way, I'm going to write 3 as 3/1. 4 times 3 gives me 12 on the top. 7 times 1 gave me 7 on the bottom. This time I could convert this into a mixed number. How many 7's are there in 12 for me, Macy Jane? Just the one, lovely, and I've got 5/7 left over. How about now? Have a go at this one in your light blue books. Right, let's approach it in exactly the same way. I'm going to write 5 as 5/1. I'm then just going to multiply my numerators together. 4 times 5 gives me 20. 7 times 1 gives me 7. I can write this as a mixed number. I can say there are 2 lots of 7 in 20, and I've got 6/7 left over. How about now? Pause the video, have a little think. Okay, we're going to do it in the same way. Again, I'm going to write 5 as 5 over 1. I'm going to multiply my numerators together. 4 times 5 gives me 20. 3 times 1 on the bottom gives me 3. How many 3's are there in 20 for me, Macy Jane? 6, lovely. 6 times 3 is 18. And then I've got 2 left over. Okay, Year 7, in your light blue books, please work out the following questions, simplifying your fraction as your answer if you can, and converting your answer to a mixed number where possible. For example, if I was doing the first one, I've got a half times 4. I'm going to write 4 as 4 over 1. 1 times 4 gives me 4 on the top. 2 times 1 gives me 2 on the bottom. I can divide top and bottom by 2, and that just gives me 2. Pause the video and have a go at those questions now, please. This should take about 10 minutes. And these are the answers. Please check your work and see how you did. Okay, slightly trickier now. Please pause the video for 10 minutes, Year 7, and have a go at these questions for me. And these are the answers. Please check your work and see how you did. And now, please pause the video for a further 10 minutes and have a go at these questions for me. And these are the answers I was looking for. Please check your work and see how you did. And as an extension, if you're confident, don't worry if you're not, can you have a go at these questions for me in your light blue books? Pause the video for a few minutes and see how you get on. And these are the answers I was looking for. Please check your work and see how you did. Well done if you got those. There were some tricky ones in there. And that's the end of today's lesson. Please head over to Google Classroom and submit today's exit ticket for me. Thanks very much, Year 7, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.